Okay, so hi Rich, nice to meet you. I really appreciate that you jumped on this call and decided to share with me, with my audience, some insights regarding your business, regarding your experience. So, hi.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, and my first question will be regarding your student years. Did you have the aim to start your business when you were a student?
So like meaning, but what before I was into business, yeah, I could tell you a little bit about prior to that. I came from a family, I would say, of more entrepreneurship, less about going to a big college, and more about working in the family business or something of the sort. My grandfather was in a similar business to us as we are today. And so, just as a young kid, I always had little tiny businesses, everything from like a paper route to shoveling snow to, then had a little like detail shop, where we detail cars and stuff like that. So yeah, prior to actually becoming an adult, getting into business, I always had like little tiny micro businesses growing up.
Okay, got it. And why did you choose this industry? If you mentioned that, as I understand, you have some chosen between industries, why did you choose this?
Yeah, so prior to being in the merchandise space, I was in the bar business for quite some time, almost 10 years working inside of bars. We had like an entertainment company in combination with a clothing brand. The brand was called Chii, Chii. And basically the thought process here was that we would throw parties. Sometimes they were reoccurring weekly parties, or they were gatherings across the country, or like fashion shows or product releases, and we would travel around doing this entertainment side of the business with the thought process that was basically we were getting paid to market the product. And so on the back end, we were always trying to push the brand as a lifestyle, and so those kind of two things just merged together. And so that's what we were doing prior to opening up the manufacturing side. And that kind of rolls right into how we got into Culture Studio. Was the biggest problem that we had as a brand was trying to find places at this time in America, because we weren't import people. Like, we didn't understand how to import products from, say, China or Mexico or something like that. So really the only thing that made much sense to us was to make these products here in the United States. And that was a lot of problem. And so in 2008, we decided that we were going to go ahead and open up like our own studio, in which Chii would be our only client at the time. So that's how Culture Studio was born. It was born purely a 900 square foot facility, very, very small. And we just simply made products for ourselves. And that really started to catch on. We actually found out that we were better at the manufacturing side and the decorating side than we were at the brand side. And I think we were also maturing as individuals. And so traveling around the country, throwing parties, and attempting to sell our brand was a perfect point in time in our life. But it was now, we were ready to go through a little bit of a maturing and get into a business that now I would say has a little longer shelf life, and a business that doesn't necessarily have the fashion industry that goes up and down. It's very hard to stay relevant. Whereas with Culture Studio, it's much easier to continue to have this growth trajectory forever, because it's a very sustainable business.
Yeah, I found information that in this business you are more than 12 years, and you have some especially personal skills. What helped to you start this business?
Yeah, I think we do this like little exercise with our leadership team where we like identify each other's superpowers. And so I'll just like tell you about what they've uncovered for me, as in my superpowers. I don't think I'm a master at necessarily anything, and I think that's maybe why I've been pretty good in this role. But I have the ability to adapt and most important, to execute in any position, whether that's on the finance side or on the artwork side, which definitely on the art side I'm a little rusty. It's like not easy to continue to have this skill set on Photoshop and Illustrator and all these great programs that we use, but I do have the uncanny knack to out execute pretty much everyone in my path. And so whether it's developing a piece of technology like our online tool, or something as simple as integrating a new phone system, my skill set is around not procrastinating and fully executing on whatever problem that arises. And I'm sure you can attest that running a small business, we're kind of like being a firefighter. We always have this like big red hat on, and we're just putting out whatever fire or problem that arises. Mondays, usually the internet's down, or someone backed into the garage door, or over the weekend somebody drove the forklift into something. So I would say that really is my skill set, is being able to come in there, execute, fix a problem, engineer a solution or a process around it, and then move on most likely to the next one.
Okay, got it. And I think, from my point of view, personal skills, it's good to have, but I think it's not enough for start this business, especially when you start business in manufacturing. And my question will be, have you ever used some investment before when you start this business?
No, not in this one. We have invested in quite a few other companies along the way. Some of them in our space, some of them on the technology side. But this one has been completely bootstrapped. There's been a couple of loans along the way from family and friends, but as far as Culture Studio goes, we decided that this one was going to be a very slow, consistent climb, and the slow didn't necessarily happen because we've grown the business with decent timing, but we've always felt that this one is going to be something that we're going to have forever and always very close to our hearts. And so we've decided not to go to the hyper growth VC side or private equity side, and we've just slowly taken out loans with the SBA and loans with the bank, and I'm glad to say have a good relationship with our bank. And so every time we want to buy something, which we are in a business that is extremely asset heavy, we have giant screen printing presses, we have embroidery machines, we have digital machines, we have ink mixing systems. They're extremely expensive to purchase, and they're even more expensive to install. And so in this 50,000 square feet is tons of assets. And so it certainly didn't happen overnight, but from when we moved into this space in 2015 to today, we're just continuing to hone the process in the building and continue to fine tune receiving an order from a client, whether it's online or through an account manager, a brand coordinator, and then moving that product all the way through the facility, managing the production, and then getting it out the door to the next event.
But even without VC on board, your company generate more than $12 million in past year. So
yeah,
aims on next year in 2020.
Even more this year. We should have a pretty strong, like 25% increase in top line revenue, and we're gonna hopefully just continue that. We have a lot of pretty sizable initiatives where we're very much still staying in our lane, but utilizing, like as I said, utilizing technology, utilizing our process And there's some pretty big sizable initiatives to even slightly step into a couple other spaces digitally. The digital technology that we just brought in is pretty significant for us. And on the music side, it's extremely exciting, and we are really good at that side. So we will definitely continue to build on how can we impress the fan the most, unique products, very custom products, things that the fan can then show the artist, to make an even greater bond. And we still believe that nothing speaks louder than what you wear on your shirt. Even as I look at your logo, I know you take pride obviously in that piece, because you went and you put it on that day. And so we try to have that same commitment and connection with the thought process that someone else is going to go to a store or go to an event or log on to our design tool and place an order, and that connection that they're going to have with that product is what we're trying to make. And what we're always trying to make better is that connection with the piece of merchandise.
Okay, so seems like I don't have more questions. Rich, I really appreciate you provide these answers with me.